All right, it's a Friday and it's the 23rd of May 2025. You're welcome to Good Afternoon Ghana, where we're giving all the breaking stories across the country and also follow up with some detailed interviews for us to appreciate where Ghana is as far as news, continues to break. Today, we'll pay attention to the health of this country. We've been talking about Mpox, or otherwise known as monkey pox. So there are some updates from the health sector that is telling us how, some Ghanaians or some cases have been recorded in certain areas. The news will bring you the details of that. Also, coming up is some breaking stories in the early hours of today, where some members of the new Patriotic Party, I would say, or foot soldiers, and a party chairman of the new Patriotic Party, in the person of Wontumi, was reportedly arrested by the national security. Also, Adenta Kumi, a gentleman who happens to be a foot soldier of the NPP, also was reportedly arrested this morning. What are the issues involved? We will tell you more as we continue with the updates, with interviews and all. Later, also some weeks ago, I'll say some months ago, there was a report of a missing lecturer of University of Education. And police have followed through and have given us some updates concerning the remains of this particular lecturer that was missing after some time. And they are looking into the case. One person has been arrested with regards to that particular matter. We'll give you all that later on, in the bulletin. But for now, the briefs of the stories, Desmond is standing by to bring us the stories. Desmond Okwekumati, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Annie.
To you.
Yeah.
Right, so take us away.
Great. It's now time for the news updates. Let's take a look at our headlines this afternoon. Now, coming up, combined team of police officers and national security operatives storm residents of Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Bernard Enchibuesianku, to execute a search warrant after carrying out a similar raid leading to the arrest of former NPP parliamentary candidate for Adenta Alfred. We'll bring you details on that. Also coming up in the bulletin this afternoon, some supporters of the National Democratic Congress in Kotobambi within the Ayawaso Central MCE to disrupt second confirmation process for the MCE nominee Rudolph Collingwood Williams. We'll tell you more. And coming up also in this bulletin later in our Tidy GA segment today, Business Development Manager for Environmental and Sanitation Cluster of the Jospon Group calls on the general public to prioritize waste segregation. We'll tell you more. Hello again, many thanks for joining us. I am Desmond Okwekumati. We'll begin with our very first story. And a combined team of national security operatives and police officers have stormed the residence of Bernard Enchibuesianku, popularly known as Chairman of Wontumi, the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the opposition New Patriotic Party. According to Chairman Wontumi, the officials claimed to be conducting a search, but he resisted the attempt, citing the lack of a search warrant. Chairman Wontumi also revealed that he had earlier received an invitation letter from the CID boss, DCOP Lydia Donko, and had acknowledged receipt, indicating that he would report on Monday. However, he was surprised when a different group of NIB officials showed up at his residence. Earlier, Alfred Abibil Kumi, also known as Adenta Kumi, a member of the New Patriotic Party, was picked up from his residence by armed security personnel believed to be from the National Investigation Bureau, NIB, on Friday. That is May 23. We'll bring you more details on this, with Annie later on the show. We'll get onto that story later as Annie brings us some more details on that. Now, away from that, to the presidency, and Vice President Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman on Thursday, May 22nd, returned home from London in the UK, where she travelled for medical treatment. She was welcomed at the airport by President John Dramani Mahama, First Lady Mrs. Lodina Mahama, and other senior government officials. In a brief remarks, the Vice President thanked Ghanaians for their prayers and celebrated President Mahama and his younger brother Ibrahim for their support, thoughtfulness, and care.
On behalf of the people of Ghana, we wish to warmly welcome our beloved Vice President back home. It has been a trying time for everybody, and a lot of prayers were said for your safe return. And so today is a special day that you have stepped back in the country, on the land of Ghana, hale and hearty, looking younger, looking cheerful. And we thank God for his mercies. Since you left, your colleagues, we've all missed you. We held the 120-day social contract program, and everybody said you should have been there. But with all the work you did before you went, we continued, and I think that we're able to present to the people of Ghana a significant percentage of the things that we had promised. But in all this, you were missed. Ghana is safe. Things are seem to be on the right track, and you've come at the right time to come and continue the work that you so beautifully started. And your colleagues were very happy to have you back. I particularly have missed you because even traveling out of the country has been difficult. They've threatened to impeach me for, for going to Togo when you were away. So you're warmly welcome. We are grateful to all the staff outside there who looked after you. Our embassy staff in London. I came there myself, and you told me how courteous they had been and how they had been of help. But I think in all this, it raises the issues of us improving our health care so that we can handle emergencies like this. We built a quintennial hospital, which is the UGMC, but it's still not at the stage where it can handle some of these cases. And so it's a call to duty that we should implement it the way Professor Mills had intended it to be, so that in future things like this can be, emergencies like this can be handled, without us having to fly out. But we're happy to have you. The doctors say you are 20 years younger and that you are okay and fit for the job. But we'll ask that you take it easy for a little while, and afterwards we'll see how things go. So thank you very much on behalf of all our colleagues, on behalf of all Ghanaians. I'm sure today Ghanaians will be very happy.
I want to say thanks to God. His mercies have been infinite, as always, and I'm very grateful. I express gratitude to the medical staff too, for seeing the right thing, for making the right proposals. And to my boss, that day, I don't know where you appeared from, but he came and quickly set in motion what we needed to do. And I also want to thank all of you, your prayers, for your good wishes. I can't be thankful enough. I'm very grateful. But I need to isolate beyond family and friends, your brother, Mr. Ibrahim. He stopped at nothing to ensure that I had what I needed. And then he also came to the hospital. He came to sit by me, and that was healing by itself. So, my little boss, I'm very, very grateful. So I'm very happy to be back. And there's so much that has happened that we all need to do. And I know that with our collective will do much more for our country.
And we're definitely happy to see the Vice President back and fit. So staying with politics, some supporters of the National Democratic Congress within the Ayawaso Central Municipality have disrupted the second confirmation process for the Municipal Chief Executive nominee Rudolph Collingwood Williams. The disruption involved the dismantling of canopies, chairs and the voting booth set up for the event. This was to express their dissatisfaction about the President's choice.
At the first attempt, the MCE confirmation process in La Dadekotopon was marred by chaos as some party faithful objected to confirming the President's nominee. Fast forward, after the 10-day ultimatum, the Assembly has finally confirmed the President's MCE nominee, who was re-nominated by the President.
And defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
Defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
As law established.
As by law established.
So help me.
So help me God.
At the Ayawaso Central Municipality, the situation was different. Chaos was the order of the day. The NDC supporters of the municipality thronged the confirmation venue to disrupt the process, rejecting for the second time the President's nominee. Rudolph Collingwood Williams was previously rejected by the Assembly members of Ayawaso Central during the first confirmation exercise held on Wednesday, April 30, 2025. He received only 6 out of 17 votes, falling short of the number required for confirmation. Ahead of the second confirmation process, a group of NDC supporters gathered at the Assembly premises, demanding the nomination of the NDC constituency chairman for Ayawaso Central, Hara Muhammad, as the MCE.
Mumbi says a one about me abonity. Obia name the mobile and many otu Quanamuti. Obia si otu, anti otu one epe. Say we consider for my epe otu. Yabe upo epe otu. Because on one party, on any breya. Yanu na bre. Yanu otu bre yani madia oye. No to no vote. Ya blocking a bia. We not otu. No vote. One night. Muno biaba.
Commando tout noir. Ya brama parti ya bre ama parti nu ya commando tout na ya die commando tout noir a ya ntu aba.
The process ended in Ayawaso West, where Assembly members voted 16 yes votes out of the 19 votes to confirm the President's nominee.
I want to assure the Assembly members here that we are going to work together. Everybody's welfare will be protected. Everybody's welfare will be taken care of. We are going to work together and ensure that there is good governance.
On Monday, there will be an election at Ayawaso Central.
The same candidate?
Same candidate, my dear.
But the people are not in support of it.
That is the president's decision, and so they have to support. I mean, you don't have to like someone before you confirm the person. This is a president's choice, and so we don't have any choice than to confirm him.
Away from politics, it's the world's largest man-made lake and the heartbeat of Ghana's economy and ecology. But today, the Volta Lake is choking with pollution, siltation and collapsing infrastructure, pushing communities to the brink. From disease outbreaks to power cuts, the ripple effects are wide and worsening. Today, we'll take you to the shores of this struggling lifeline where hope still floats amidst rising crisis.
Spanning over 400 kilometers, Ghana's Volta Lake is more than water. It's a lifeline. It feeds, connects, and powers communities. But this lifeline is under threat. In towns like Bandotoko, the lake's waters, once clean, are now polluted. Infrastructure is crumbling, and with no alternatives, residents still drink, bathe, and wash in these unsafe waters. nsuo nsa ubuni sia say na ode mom omoto ne barrow na wo sa ne bucket.
Yes, san bucket we no ye 10 cd tank no. 10 cd.
Inti se nipa no ntumi nto tank ni nyina wo sa ode den ne be sa man.
Obia oji tank no.
Poor sanitation and unsafe transport routes have made disease and delays part of daily life. What once was a vibrant hub now struggles under the weight of neglect.
The ferry is which is the Pantu has spoiled for the past 6 weeks now, and nothing has been done about it, making life very difficult for commuters and those people who operate along the eastern region and Volta region over here. And so, for the meantime, I would say Toko is a very hot, notable community that helps in transport of goods and services from Volta region to eastern region. If you're looking at the community, but even last 2 years, I have to work on a communal labor. Every month I work on a communal labor so that this place will be hot, will be neat. And we are not seeing any support from anywhere.
Siltation and weeds are choking transport channels. Boats reroute or abandon journeys. This means lost income, longer commutes, and deepening inequality.
Basically, they are not heeding to our plea. So looking at it, when the Pantu lands, you will see sometimes I have some videos and pictures to share. Before the Pantu hot even leave this particular community, sometimes it stay about even 1 hour before it hot. It can even go back because the landing place. We cannot also not sit down and be looking at it that way.
There is a lot of silt built in the water.
Exactly. So the Pantu find it very difficult even to move.
The lake also powers the Ayawaso Dam, Ghana's energy backbone. Falling water levels threaten power production, risking blackouts and raising costs. Oil spills, human waste, and garbage are poisoning the lake. Spawning grounds are vanishing. Fish stocks are falling, threatening both food security and livelihoods. Flooding driven by siltation directly undermines SDG Goal 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities, which calls for resilience against climate-related disasters. It also threatens SDG 13, Climate Action, as climate adaptation depends on a healthy, functioning ecosystem. But there is hope. Local cleanups, dredging and new infrastructure in places like Ayawaso show progress. Reviving the lake will take more partnerships, investment, and a shared commitment. The Volta Lake is the heartbeat of Ghana's heartland. To restore it is to restore life, dignity, and opportunity. Shadrach Odame Ejare, Metro News.
And that's a rather sad development brought to you by my colleague Shadrach Odame Ejare. We're hoping that authorities will work on that as soon as possible. You're still watching the news updates here on Good Afternoon Ghana with me, Desmond Okrekudan. So we'll go back to our earlier story about the MCE confirmations in the Greater Accra region. We have an update from the Ayawaso Central where the NDC constituency chairman for the area, Hara Muhammad, has denied his involvement in the disruption witnessed during the confirmation process of Rudolph Collingwood-Williams as MCE for the second time by some party supporters in the constituency. He spoke during a news conference on Thursday, May 22.
The confirmation of municipal chief executive nominees of the president across the country have been characterized with drama and confusion due to conflicting interests of party supporters, with some of the nominees facing massive rejection from assembly members. The latest incident to be recorded is the chaos that occurred at the Kotubabi cluster of schools at Ayawaso Central in the Greater Accra region, where some NDC supporters in the area stormed the place to disrupt the confirmation process of Rudolph Collingwood-Williams as MCE. During a news conference at the party's office, NDC constituency chairman for Ayawaso Central, Hara Muhammad, says he never instigated the youth to disrupt the process.
The place has been beefed up with security. It's really good. And then went to see the coordinating director and the MP, and I told them, I am in the process of talking to the youth. You see, when you do this, it looks as if you are undermining my office as the chairman. And so just exercise patience. I don't have interest in it again. But let me talk to the youth so that I can calm tensions down. And so the commander of MIMA, the divisional commander, called me and said I should talk to the youth. So I came out and spoke to them. Quietly, we all moved and went. So I want to put it on record that I did not invite them there, and I did not orchestrate what happened today. It is the youth. They are also party boys who work for the party. And so I don't think what they did, although it was too harsh, but at least they need to be talked to.
He has called for the party leadership to consider the interest of the party youth in order to restore calm and order.
The regional minister saying if the nominee is rejected 10 times, she's going to bring him 10 times. You see, it seems as if you are daring the youth. I don't want us to go to that tangent. We need to judge all. We need to speak to ourselves. We understand ourselves so that we can move ahead. You see, I find it difficult to understand why such a thing would happen and the party will sit aloof and watch, because it is the party's name that is being dragged in the mud. So I am calling on the party hierarchy to intervene in this case. At least the youth leaders are there. They can invite me, I invite them. They sit with us and talk. Because if, fine, I say I am not more interested in it.
Rudolph Collingwood Williams was previously rejected by the assembly members of Ayawaso Central during the first confirmation exercise held on Wednesday, April 30, 2025, where he received only 6 out of 17 votes, falling short of the number required for confirmation.
We now move to the Bono regional capital of Sunana, where the Municipal Assembly has rolled out immediate measures to decongest the central business district, which has come under significant strain due to the area's fast-growing population. The Assembly is also taking steps to address long-standing drainage problems that increase flood risk while improving the sanitation across the municipality. There's more in this report.
The rapidly growing capital of the Bono region has increased concerns with regards to the environment, especially on sanitation. It is therefore timely for the Assembly's planned decongestion exercise. Municipal Chief Executive for Sunana, Vincent Nchiej, has revealed that stakeholder engagements are currently ongoing with market women, shop owners, and other groups to ensure a smooth and peaceful decongestion exercise.
Most of the market women or those having their shops along the major streets of Sunyane usually prefer removing their goods or stuffs from their shop, then display them on the walkway. So we have engaged them and have given them 2 weeks, 14 days, that they should send back their goods or their products back into the shop, so that the walkway that was meant for pedestrians to walk along the main road, they can have access to that.
The LCE further noted that he has requested comprehensive short and long-term reports due within a month from key state agencies such as the Environmental Protection Agency (EPA), the National Disaster Management Organization (NADMO), and the Town and Country Planning Department to guide the Assembly's efforts in mitigating flood risks and addressing drainage issues in the municipality.
It's a matter of engaging with the public sector, engaging with the private people, so that they can come into also support. So as I said, if only it will follow the law, because we also have laws that this process must go through. So I've also discussed that with the director, and I've made mention of the fact that one key aspect of my administration will be that where laws will permit us to partner with the private developer to work on a project, I will personally say to it.
On sanitation, the MCE disclosed that the Assembly has begun procuring essential tools, including shovels, rakes, headpans, brooms, and waste bins to facilitate regular monthly cleanup exercises. This will be executed in partnership with waste management firm Zoom Lion.
I've started engaging the other stakeholders to like Zoom Lion. They had their own challenges, but I invited them to also hear their challenges and see how best the Assembly can also come in to also augment their challenges and ensure that Sunyani is clean. One thing we have touted Sunyani with is cleanliness, sanitation, best sanitation practices. So I wouldn't want it to, I wouldn't want that name or that glory to go away during my tenure.
And our tiny GA segment for today, Business Development Manager for Environmental and Sanitation Cluster of the Jospon Group and Coordinator for the Waste is Go Tour project, Gipsy Opoku Ajaman, has urged the general public to prioritize waste segregation at source for easy waste processing and promotion of sustainable environment. She made the call during a familiarization visit and a tour of the Accra compost and recycling plant by students of the American International School.
The Waste is Go Tour project is an initiative by the Jospon Group intended to highlight the significance of waste management and the need for a sustainable environment. Schools, corporate institutions, and other organized groups are taken on a tour of the facility to be abreast of the company's operations. Students of the American International Schools in Accra were taken through the various processing stages of the facility by managers of Accra Compost Recycling Plant. Business Development Manager of E&S Waste Cluster and Coordinator for the Waste is Go Tour, Gifty Opoku Ajaman, charged the students to be ambassadors of waste segregation.
People spend time digging grounds all over around us. What we generate in our homes, in our houses, wherever we find ourselves, is more than the goal that we are looking for down there. We see plastics around, we see, we make organic waste all around, but we are not able to recycle them. So the Waste is Go Tour is an eye-opener. It's more like a guided tour to give to the people to have an attitudinal change when they have gone back to their various homes.
Some tutors of AIS applauded the efforts of managers at ACARP in creating value from waste generated.
I'm a pastor's wife in Presby Church. I'll make sure they know what to do. And I'm going to start in my home separating my trash. I will also make sure tomorrow in school we are going to collect the trash, the plastics around in school. And we'll make sure we educate the people around our school. I'm so glad I came here.
Environmental advocate and student of AIS, Kelvin Godson, advocated for the distribution of more waste bins to schools to enhance waste segregation.
What I notice here is when the waste comes, they separate it, the huge waste, the organic waste, plastic, metals, all that. But when you start the process from your home, it makes the job here easier. So at AIS, we just dispose our trash normally, indiscriminate. We put everything into one bin, which is why we requested for these bins. So we can separate them into organic waste and solid waste. And it will make your job here easier. So I urge all of you guys to start, if you can, separate your waste, even if it's a small rubber.
Ghana generates over 5 million tons of waste annually, with a staggering 40 to 60% uncollected and less than 10% being recycled.
Well, just before we go, independent parliamentary candidate for Krowo constituency, Duke Ni Afote Mensa, has called on government to empower local companies to manufacture sanitary parts instead of importing them. This, he said, would empower local industries to create jobs and stimulate economic growth. He made the call at the sidelines of the 5th Women in Trade and Investment Conference.
The first thing we want women in trade to do is to get information. Information is a huge resource these days. So when all the speakers are done talking after their business clinics, which will be hands-on, where people will have the opportunity to go to these organizations and present their special cases as far as their business are concerned to them and get tailored solutions. We expect that when all is said and done, after the third day, we will have women who have information, who have identified the solutions to challenges that they have and are poised mentally to launch into the export market. We expect that people will resolve to start. It doesn't matter how small it is, but take the first step to expand their businesses to cover the other African countries. We are encouraging them to start intra-Africa trading.
Well, that's all for the news updates. I am Desmond Okreku. Back to Annie Ifuampofu for the rest of the program. Annie, over to you. Annie, you might have to put your microphone on.
Can you hear me now?
We're good.
Okay. As I was calling you Okreku Danso, and you said what?
I get that.
No, I said Okreku Mante.
Yes, Okreku Mante.
Yes.
It's Okreku Danso.
You don't like Mante. You might become a minister one day.
The Mantes was someone else. This was the Danso.
Desmond Okreku Danso, thank you for the updates that you brought to us. All right. So that's it. First, before I let you go, these morning arrests that we're hearing from. I think we all picked the information from social media until we went back to government officials to confirm and all that. What do you make of, how these are being carried out?
I think that it's one of the things that with this particular government, we have seen a lot of that happening, so far already. I'm sure that there are reasons to that, but maybe the concerns would be about what will be termed as the Rambo style, of it happening. If someone has done something in the past government and coming into this government trying to seal all the holes or trying to actually probe what has happened, in the past, it is very prudent, very good that happens. But maybe we could find a nice way. I don't know if there could be a nice way to get it done. But for Adenta Kumi, it's very interesting what we're hearing as to how the whole incident happened. On social media this morning, I woke up, I saw Justin Kodio Frimpong writing 20 people at Adenta Kumi's house. Everybody moved there. I saw Vincent Asafua also writes that and a whole lot. It's like, okay, really interesting stuff. But we'll see how it goes with Chema to me also. Yeah. He says that he will actually go to the CID office on Monday. Okay. So we'll wait and see how that pans out.
I just was thinking that when it comes to the security intelligence, maybe I'm not a security expert, but when it comes to security intelligence, we are not in any position of prescribing how they do their work, because I want to believe that they must have picked up certain level of intel before they act.
Definitely.
Yes.
For that
every
part,
government across,
As for that part, it's very important. If there's an intelligence that leads to some sort of investigation or expose, it is very important that action is taken. But maybe the action, we can do something about.
You don't know if you call the action arrest or raid or
We'll see how that goes.
Yes. Thank you. We'll be probing into these matters as we go on. I'm grateful for your time.
Definitely.
All right. So those are the briefs of the stories, but we're going to go into the details as we, get into the matter. And it has to do definitely with the updates that are unfolding. Remember that all these arrest matters that are coming up stems from the Chief Justice's removal procedure that's currently ongoing. The latest was the Chief Justice, also trying to put an injunction on the process itself. And then we've had Adenta Kumi, who was, house was stormed this morning by security personnel. We're told that he was the one allegedly behind the footages involving the judges that were seen in a certain restaurant, in the open space, having a meeting over the matter. Some persons are alleging on social media, but that's not officially confirmed, which people think that is going to affect the case itself. But we'll get and understand what's going on. And then we'll also bring you updates from the university where a lecturer went missing. And unfortunately, when he was found, it was his remains that were found. We'll give you the details of what the police have said so far on that update. Mpox or monkeypox is also rising. The infections are rising in Ghana. Watch yourself wherever you are, what you touch. We'll give you, we'll speak with a medical expert to let us understand how that infection spreads so that you are informed, adequately on what to do and what not to do. We'll take a breather for now. We'll be back shortly.
Whether you're a wholesaler, retailer, or consumer, MNC Logistics and Trading is your trusted partner in minerals and food commodities trading. Experience the difference with MNC Logistics and Trading for your commodities trading. We operate a well-equipped laboratory that smelts and assays gold to ensure transparent, credible, and reliable minerals transactions. Our general food commodity market deals with imports and exports of food products such as rice, sugar, and grains. We pride ourselves on delivering products that meet the highest standards of quality and taste. With our expertise in international trading and logistics, we bridge customers far and wide. Locate us at number 4 Neosai Interfo Avenue, East Legon, Accra. Call us on 030-299-8246 or visit our website www.mnclogisticsandtrading.com. MNC Logistics and Trading, hub of confidence.
Some movies change the world, and you'll find them elsewhere. Mnet Movies 4 is just in it to change your mood. Great. They turn an ordinary night into something awesome. Make you laugh louder, smile bigger, and feel like a kid all over again.
Yay! This is so much fun!
The only thing our movies are seriously serious about is making you happy. All month long. Ah! On Mnet Movies 4 for the easy, cheesy, silly, funny, snort laugh classic movies of your life.
Join the president of EBID and other leading development experts live on June 3rd, 2025 from 11 a.m. GMT on Metro TV Ghana, DSTV Channel 277 and EBID's digital platforms for the President's Roundtable on Unlocking Food Security in West Africa through Agricultural Transformation. Having financed over $113 million in agriculture and agribusiness projects and programs to build resilient food systems across the ECOWAS sub-region, EBID has prioritized tackling food insecurity in the sub-region in its Strategy 2025 with the aim of assisting member states to attain SDG 2 and SDG 3. Dr. George Ejekum Donko, President and Chairman of the Board of Directors of EBID, will be joined by leading development experts to discuss and share their collective experiences and perspectives on addressing food security challenges in West Africa, as well as finding innovative ways to ensure food resilience in the region. ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development. EBID, transforming ECOWAS communities.
Hey Ghana! Hey Accra! We're the maiden edition. Walk in your jersey. Ignite Sports and Yade Bramo. Paso Saturday, 24th of May, 2025. Yashasya wa Accra Mall. Nyakwakobi wa Center Point Mall. Our Atomic Junction. Shannon So. Ignite Sports.
Team Bain our supporting. Arsenal, Man U, Chelsea, Real Madrid, Inter, Amansa, FC Barcelona. Anye, Sewu Jesse, na Brasil, walk in your Jesse. Yenina yenshia Jesse, niemra, nienantimo.
Etiye tuye sadefre asori akuo enyina. Keep Fit Club, anase suku ahodo enyina.
Ye Shasie, our shopping mall, a crab mall, ye Shasie, near the Akopim, our center point. And you walk in your jersey. We taking over.
You're welcome back to Good Afternoon, Ghana. Let's now get into the details of breaking stories and running stories. From this morning, or I'll say this dawn, till this time we're still talking about it, where two persons from or associated with the new Patriotic Party were allegedly arrested by the national security, or were said to have been sent to be arrested by the national security. One was picked up earlier in the person of Adenta Kumi, and then later we also had the national chairman of the party in the Ashanti region, Chairman Wontumi, as well. We have videos of them. We'll play them, in due course. But for now, let's speak with the Deputy General Secretary for the NPP, Hara Muhammad, who has joined us via phone to give us updates of exactly what's happening. Hara, thank you for your time. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Annie. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I hope you're okay. So this morning, we saw on the page of Justin Kodia, who was organizing or attempting to organize patriots, I would say, to, get into the home of Adenta Kumi, having picked up CID information that he was going to be arrested. What can you tell us about that post?
Today is a dark day. In fact, there is a tap on the democracy in Ghana today. We woke up to the news that gentleman who is a member of the new Patriotic Party, Mr. Adenta Kumi, house was raided by over 20 security from the NIB, from the uniform that they were wearing, very armed. Notice was not given to them, to Adenta Kumi, of their visits. None of them had a warrant on him, and his home was raided. The wife and other family members were very distressed. You could see that their privacy was invaded, which was against the dictates of our constitution. I think that we are getting back to the days of the silencing of people not to speak, because what we do know is that Mr. Adenta Kumi had submitted a petition. He did not send the petition with guns. He did not send the petition with any gunpowder. He did not also gather any lanyards and went to submit the petition. He lawfully submitted the petition to the executive, and this petition is related to the CJ matter. For him to be visited today in this manner was something that we all begin to question ourselves, that what kind of reset have we gotten for this country? It is very bad. The General Secretary of the party, my boss, made a follow-up to the national security, and he was denied access to Mr. Adenta Kumi. He was told that the person that will have to be seen before access could be granted had gone to Kasua, and that he should go and come back at 2 p.m. So I know that my boss will be going back to the national security at 2 p.m. To ascertain the whereabouts of Mr. Adanta Kumi. I believe that the new Patriotic Party, as part of our ideology, is to stand with the democracy, and which has been part of the ideals of our party. And I think that what is happening today is an affront to the democratic credentials of Ghana in the annals of Africa.
So you use the word raid. I think in other officials or other happenings that the national security was involved in terms of trying to get, officials of previous administration, the word raid was used. But why are we using raid in this case?
Well, it is raid because the person is not informed. That you could see the kind of dress that Adenta Kumi was wearing. Raid is used here because there is no prior information or invitation. And again, there is no any warrant for arrest or invitation. So when such things happen, you cannot call it invitation, and you cannot call it in the official cycles of trying to get a lawful person to respond to exercise of law. So it is a raid.
Why not arrest?
Well, you cannot use arrest here because why? Because I have not been informed. Even arrest, if it is arrest, before you should be arrested, you should be shown a warrant.
Mm-hmm.
A reason of arrest or a document should be shown. By mere wearing of the uniform, which can be procured in any market, cannot be an identification enough. The word I am using is cannot be identification enough. It could be one of the identifications, but it cannot be the identification enough. And that is why they have ID cards, and the most appropriate in this particular instance, either invitation or arrest must be accompanied by a warrant.
Because, I mean, if you want to look at, if you use the word raid, because these situation has actually attracted political mix or attention, we are careful, how you put the twist on it. If you use the word raid, it's almost like trying to put a certain twist so that it is seen in certain lights. But if you use the word arrest, that also connotes a different meaning. Meaning somebody may have done something or an intel has been picked about the person. And so by the intelligence of the security agencies, they deem it fit to get the person arrested immediately, notified or not. So once you're using raid, that is like a strong word. That's like invading your enemy's camp. But this is not someone who is an enemy to these security agencies.
Annie, let me give you an explanation of raid. Raid refers to a sudden attack or intrusion, either by military force, police, or even in everyday context. When such things happen, it is raid.
Is that your definition?
Sudden attack. Yes, this is an attack on him.
That's your
definition. That's not my definition.
Okay.
That is what raid is. So, and there are several ways that you can get these definitions done. And if you check, raid can be a surprise attack on an enemy by troops, aircraft, or any other armed force. And these are armed personnel who went to his house. It is not a prior invitation. That is why it is said it can be surprise. And this definition I'm giving you is from the Oxford Dictionary. If you check the Oxford Dictionary, it tells you that a raid, surprise attack on an enemy by troops, aircraft, or other armed forces. And these are armed forces who went to his house. Was it by invitation? No. Was it surprise? Yes. Can't it be defined as raid? Yes. So I choose my words very carefully.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean exactly what I said, because Adenta Kumi is not running away. He was not caught at the airport. He has not been invited, that he refused, and he has not been prior informed, and his house was raided.
Is that to suggest that it is only under a condition or intel picks that he's bolting or running away from the country that he should be arrested in this manner?
I'm just giving you the instance to back the use of the raid. But even if you pick intelligence, and the intelligence is something that is of agent notice, there is agent preparation, or you cannot. If it is so agent that you cannot prepare a warrant, maybe the person is boarding a flight that you would not be able, and you have to make sure that the flight is not airborne. So in this particular instance, there is every evidence to say it's a raid, because it is something that he has not been informed. It's a surprise visitation, and there was intrusion because Adenta Kumi was unaware, and he has not officially been invited. There was also invasion of his privacy. You could see the family members, you could see the wife, see the trousers he was wearing. Look at, I don't know whether that was the mother. Look at, I don't think this is acceptable in our democracy. It's not acceptable.
In your opinion, no, I won't ask you even in your opinion, whatever information that Adenta Kumi is suspected to be holding on to, is the party executives aware of this? Has he communicated any of this information with you, shared with you, told you what he is up to, what information you think he has, and why the whole executive is amassing the youth groups to storm his house maybe in an effort of protecting him or stopping or preventing the arrest?
Well, it is not about the information Adenta Kumi has. It is about how Adenta Kumi is treated. And it is also about the constitution of the new Patriotic Party. We have the right per the constitution of the party to defend and uphold. And that is why the General Secretary is performing his duty as the CEO of the party to defend the member of the new Patriotic Party. Secondly, whether he has an information that they need, they should have been formally communicated to request or to even subpoena him to provide if they need a certain information. What we know officially is that Adenta Kumi has written a petition relative to the processes of the suspension and the processes leading to the ousting of the Chief Justice. And this petition is not a hidden petition. It is a document that has been submitted to the executive. So how hidden it is, whichever information is provided there, it is not for us, because the petition was not submitted to the new Patriotic Party. It was submitted to the executive. And the executive is using their powers to go and pick up Adenta Kumi in a manner that has been done. We are referring the executive to the point that we are living in a constitutional democracy. We should be able to cite ourselves within the realms of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. The right of every citizen must be respected. Nobody should overstep his or her boundary. And that is exactly all of us are looking at for. The times of intimidation must stop.
Okay.
This will
it's clear how you remember the rights of an individual, but you forget the responsibility of an individual by the same constitution.
Yes, Annie.
Yes.
That is why his responsibility has been executed by him petitioning without the use of guns, without insult, without attack, without abuse. You get the point? The person has exercised, because there are two things in the Constitution: rights and responsibilities. Tell me, do you know which of his responsibilities that he didn't do right?
When you say he is petitioned, how do you mean? Because we're talking about videos that have been shared that may or may not have a direct bearing on a matter in court, a substantive, active matter in court.
I don't know the video you are talking about because they have not officially informed the guy whether he shared a video. What officially we know is that Adenta Kumi has submitted a petition. And if a video has been shared, he has not been officially informed of the crime. And that is why the General Secretary went to ascertain. And he's been told to go and come back because some officer is in charge and the person has gone to Kaswa. And by 2 p.m., so my supposed to be there by 2 p.m. If you are referring to a video, there are so many videos that are in circulation. If you open your phone now, maybe you have also seen the video. If a video from a restaurant is shared, is Adenta Kumi the CEO of the restaurant or is the IT coordinator of that restaurant who is in charge of manning that particular CCTV?
Okay.
At least let's give respect to the members of this country, the citizens of this country, and let's make sure that everybody's personal liberty must be respected.
Okay. You say you're going to the CID 2 p.m.?
Yes, my boss will be going there.
Okay, but let me find out, how successful were you when your boss was organizing patriots to storm the house of Adenta Kumi? What was it for? What was the agenda?
We have to know if a member of your party or your relative is being paid. You should know. You should know why they are picking the person. And that is why you needed people to lawfully giving the mandate to do so.
Okay, and were they able to give you the appropriate information you wanted?
Before we could get there, he was paid. We've seen videos because the member of the party was bold enough to make sure that they were recorded. This has been given to our lawyers. The lawyers are making a lot of other investigations into this matter, and I believe that the New Patriotic Party will not leave this matter to rest. We will follow it truly by the dictates of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, and we'll do everything right to ensure that the rights and liberties of every member or citizen is respected.
Okay, we've been focusing on Adenta Kumi, but does the same apply to Chairman Wontimi as well? What's the update? We're told that Chairman has already told them that he will report himself next week to the office. Or what information have you picked, from his side as well?
We know that they went there too with armed security. Chairman has adequate, just as we have said. We are making follow-ups on all these particular stories to ascertain what exactly all those matters are. But what we do know is that this is an agenda by the executive to put at back of certain matters that are of national interest to every citizen. And I think that if this is the way we have to go, then I'm sorry. I'm sorry that this is not the right approach.
Your boss has described the situation as a disgrace to this government. Why?
Yes, it's a disgrace because he's not saying it just off mind. He's saying it based on facts. You know that Reverend Impimpojuo's house was raided. There was no warrant of search or arrest. Adenta Kumi, same thing is done. Our Bono Regional Chairman too, same thing, no warrant. Why is this government constantly avoiding the use of legal means to ensure the preparation and exercise of the use of warrants? If you continue, a mistake now, a repeated mistake, and a repeated mistake is a disgrace. So that is why he says that it's an embarrassment. We don't need to put the nation on the spot in such a negative manner in all situations. These people can easily be invited. People are law-abiding. When did it happen? Aponya went and visited. When they did so, he went. So at least they should listen to advice, invite people lawfully, and the people will go. Nobody is dodging accountability. But what we know is that even this government will not be in government in perpetuity. And they will answer to accountability. That is what we should know. Nobody will be there in power forever.
I don't think that the length of the period or however this government or whichever government stays in power is what matters. It's what they do to make the country better that matters. So at a point they exit, you expect that they may have done something right or wrong. Are you ready to collaborate with the government on whichever part they take in terms of accountability? Are you ready to participate or collaborate with the government?
We have said it time without number. The MPP and its members are not running from accountability. They should use the lawful means, and the individuals will follow and respect the Constitution.
Okay.
Nobody is running away.
Okay. Okay.
None of our leaders in our party has ever questioned any leader in our party with respect to probity and accountability. But their leader has ever done so. Okay. The founder has ever done so. So we are not against accountability. We are ready, provided that it is within the realms of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. Right.
Haruna, I'm sure you are one of the people happy to see the Vice President back.
Yes, I am very happy to see our Vice President back. And you see, Annie, many people have forgotten or have not reverted their mind to one thing. The MPP has so respected this woman to the extent that we have not given so much public discussion of the health of the Vice President. If it was the NDC, they would have climbed the rooftop and all manner of commentaries would have been done. We need her. She's the number 2 citizen of our country, and she coming back healthy. We are very happy, and we wish her well.
Hara Muhammad, I thank you for your time. Thank you for speaking to us. Hara Muhammad is the the Deputy General Secretary for the MPP, speaking to us on the development of its members that have are finding themselves in a situation with the security agency, to be precise, for CID. Let's get onto the phone lines and speak and engage Nanama Owusu. Nanama Owusu happens to be the mother of Alfred Kumi, otherwise known as Adenta Kumi. We have her on the phone lines to engage with. Nanama, thank you so much for your time. You're welcome to Good Afternoon, Ghana. Hello, Nana. Hello. Okay, so the production team tried to contact the mother of Alfred Kumi, otherwise known as Nanama, otherwise known as Adenta Kumi, and she happened to have been in a house with a gentleman or the young man when the security personnel stormed the home of this member of the MPP. I think in some part of the videos you could catch a glimpse of her. If she were the one, I'm not sure. We'll find out. There was a woman's voice also in the background, expressing some frustration, asking where he was being taken to so that they get some information and know how to follow through with it. And so we are trying to see if we can have her on the phone lines. But also in the same development, in the same vein, we had JFK, who is the General Secretary for the MPP, writing on his wall, alerting that Chairman Wuntumi's house was also being raided. And so he tried to organize the party persons to, storm the house. All right. Let's try again. Nana Mampacho, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Pacho, what to say?
Me
huye nyame adom. Okay, ma anapei na well unim ye adwuma ye no nti ye nsaka information bi say security officials bi aba efia omo befa Adenta Kumi akọ for some reason we do not know, but omo ba ye no na wo ho then omo ka kire o na then e see ye
ya na me pie gate
mpacha say
me na me pie gate no.
When I would take a case, no. I want to be a gate in the ma omo. Okay, into more room, then they see, then I'm catch rail.
They make a term of someone train or shipping or room. I know for others by no way beginning, and others the camp won to ne ade.
Gate no omo force bie ya no omo bo mu ansa wo
bi. Main gate at the right entrance. Udi refie ni no no omo bie o na second one ana omo bitina me gate anu wo me fie wa no mudina company. So mo ne nakata. Na so nakata oba. Tumunya abotre eno sa wo me. Ewura me bed nko wura me bedroom ne me dem ho nyina. Minim de omkoye ho. Ade na si me timi ko check se me bibia ira ho na sa enyira yi. Minim ti di se yi ansa. Ahobofo no ade nti. Nti akire no na kumi ye se wo ba no munya abotre. Akodi nsu ogu no se o mu nye yo shatare aba. Ano mu di yi oboden no so opie. Na nti na kan yiri na ekopie. Ye no na odi to ni board no mark da ho kra. Ti odi bo mu no. Ana kumika se omra na ono so nye den. No ba ne to kopin wa ne yefu se.
Video ni mo no yete se na oba bi kasa na say security agencies no personnel no ba ko kasa
oba ni su na mo de na ekohen na mo je tu ni nyina no osu na mo de na ekohen na me so me na na me say blue and white no 19 na na sheme na mada wo do 5:30 do 5:30 enti na ye nyina ya da enti me na wo board dan ni ma me kopie ye on ti kan be die kwa ka mu se ma me pede mu mo yesa sa enye
na moja tu ne yire
Patriotic so ba me yesa ne kungo ne to ko wo use ties on informants I think
onye nsan 4 months Inti sesi a ono nkasa we he
ono nkasa hospital ni sise he no na omo si ebetumi yi no o fere na de na besi
mo de ne ko hospital
so de mo de tu no de ni de akora ne ben ti yi ni se
okay now hospital ben owo
hello
yes ma hospital ben owo
only go
okay oba no omo de ne ko no mo kire o ba bia omo de ne ko
o man kire oba ne kra no obidi no so be kon so mo si da bi me de me 90 ni kra ko tinem kra no mo si da bi omo ni mama ntem kai ni mo ayema
na utumi hu edin bi e ba obi boso ana say identification bi
isi happy no enya de be hu obi di ana bibi etisa maka ne number de yafa
oba no ejuma oye nintia na opiepie bi obeba anajo ana obeba wi ana depends wa kan bibi a kire se ebia bibi besi nti wa ma intel obi na wada ho so ana wa nka bibi a sa ankire
wa nka bibi a ankire
nti e chese normal efie na mo wona chese esie okay into the next move they saying ubeko wase oni de wo so hospital nti moba no bukwa kodi echire many party for akasa omo si ewia
ben na mo kwa so ko
nti wo ko he
oba kan de so ntimi ntena se
nti ifa na wo ko
me ko ka okidi BNI
wo ko BNI
aho
na wo ye sure say bia obewo
aho na me ye sure isa atare ba ko ne bum yehu
aha na wo ko na mama wo kwan e
enye hwe na ombe fa na o marry
mama botre enti okay sesi a yesu ye de ni de twa hwe say ye benya information bia waka say oba no wonim say ebia wode ne wa involve ne ho bibia mu a wabo amane nti wonim hwe a ekoso ohu
adam patro mo smart bibia na
And yes, it's here officially no yente bibia ya tibia no allegations.
Minim to akokum ni po ana akobio bia di ana akoro bi minim.
Sa wo dia wo ye ne maame nti ebia na obeka bibia tro.
Sa me menti ene de we a obisa me nti sa na ma dine be. Minim say bia politics here. Tibia minim.
Okay.
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 I'm the matter.
Yo. Ma any ye beja ho ye besan frɛ ahwɛ said our situation net here. Na etwe ne wa bonkomo. Ye da se. Yo. Okay. So that's just gone by the mother of Alfred Kumi, otherwise known as Adenta Kumi. Her name is Nanama Owusu. And in Akan, to wit, what she's trying to say is that she was home. She had a knock on the gate, so she went to open. Then the security men barged into the house, forced their way into, the home. They went through her bedroom and all. She was not sure what they were looking for. And then they were forcing to get to know where Adenta was. And the gentleman said he was coming, so they should wait. But they were rushing to get him and, take him away. They demanded the identification, the arrest warrant and all that. Nothing was given. She can't identify them by names or any other identity. So that's the information she has, and then she doesn't know where they've taken her to. But the other bad news or allegation she's making is that Adenta Kumi's wife is pregnant, 4 months pregnant. One of the security men pushed her onto the ground. She fell and she started bleeding. So they had to rush her to the hospital. The information she gives us is she's at Legon Hospital. I'm not really sure if there's a hospital or just Legon Hospital or is a Legon Medical Hospital, maybe something of that nature. So that's the information. She is rather on her way to BNI in search of her son. So that is, in summary, what Adenta Kumi's mother is telling us. Let's go on to the phone lines and engage Richard Kumado. He's a security consultant for us to understand what's happening. Richard, thank you for your time. You're welcome to Good Afternoon, Ghana.
Thank you, Anne.
Right. Grateful to have you. So all that is playing out from today dawn to this time. We're not sure what exactly is happening. Do you think, from your intelligence and expertise, is the government doing the right thing in terms of arrest, investigation, follow-ups, and all this intel it is picking? Is it managing information well?
So let's say it's not the central government per se, but these are government agencies in terms of the national security secretarial institutions such as the BNI or the NIB, the police, immigration, customs, and all the agencies that comes under the National Security Secretariat Council. To that extent, I think many of their operations have been questioned by the onlookers and by the bystanders. And I think it is proper they look at the operational strategy again, knowing that the outcome of their job could be litigated in court or it could become an issue for proper scrutiny. And for many years, I have worked in the BNI. Arrest, search, and investigations are many of the major things you will ever do. And so to that extent, I think the picture is becoming a bit more clearer for them that you cannot go on operation and almost all the time the outcome is being questioned by onlookers or it becomes a litigation issue at court.
You're speaking from the standpoint of what people are saying. What are you saying?
Now, what I'm saying is that there are two ways. Public education is important. As a public or onlooker, you have no right to obstruct a law enforcement operation. And when you do, you have come under some level of difficulties and you could be arrested. Then number two, on the side of the law enforcement officers, if it's arrest that is on the table, it means that all other things are being considered and they are determined to arrest you. And I have said previously, once arrest is on the table and we get into your premises, nothing stops us from arresting you unless Christ Jesus or unless something strategic happens. In that regard, you announce your presence, you inform the people why you are there, and whoever you are arresting, you tell them why you arrested them and where you are taking them to, particularly in the democracy where people are entitled to lawyers. So their lawyers and their families should be informed where they are being taken to and the charges against them when they come before the investigators. We will need to find out whether all this is being done And the issues that are coming out of it are not part of the misrepresentation or misinformation or disinformation in the area of NDC and MPP politics.
Yeah.
Other than that, the standard procedure for arrest, whether you are going with warrant or without warrant, the people needed to be informed why they are being arrested, your presence will be announced, and your identity will be shown. And it makes life easier for everybody.
Is national security under obligation to provide arrest warrant? Because I heard that months ago when Reverend Intimfojo's issue, was raging at the time, there were some analysts who equally came with an argument that national security didn't have and are not under obligation to provide arrest warrants. How true is this?
Okay, so Annie, there's nothing like national security. When you go to the National Security Secretariat, we have a department for operations, and we have a department for investigations. So we say officers from the National Security Secretariat, and if they are from the operational side, they will tell you. If they are from the investigation side, they will tell you. But of course, the BNI or the NIB is a National Security Council institution. So when they go on operation in the name of the state, then we call it a National Security Interest Operation. In that regard, there are two things involved. You can be searched with warrant or without warrant. And when we come without warrant, it means that we come on the certificate of emergency. Now, you can also be arrested with warrant or without warrant. And when you are being arrested without warrant, we are coming on the certificate of emergency. For instance, you are in the car, in the traffic, and somebody knocks off somebody and is running away. Law enforcement officers can arrest the person. At that moment, they don't need a warrant. Now, you've traveled and you reach Ghana, and American embassy operatives, whether immigration or customs, open your bag. They can open your bag and seal it and leave a note. And when you reach Ghana, you realize that your bag has been searched. They do not need a warrant under those circumstances. So it is very true that you can be arrested, you can be searched with warrant or without warrant. Irrespective of whatever it is, whether we are coming on the certificate of emergency or not, we need to introduce ourselves. We need to announce our presence. We can also understand the agitations in the general public, which then borders on politics between NDC and MPP, and it has nothing to do with law enforcement operations, even though you can look at it from both ways and say something is not right and something needed to be done.
So, okay, so it's been established that arrest with warrants, without warrants is allowed. Without warrant means that you are arresting under certificate of emergency. But whatever, or no matter the situation, under whatever condition you are arresting, identification must take place.
Definitely, and we will tell you why you are being arrested or why we are there to search your house. In the case of Addison, they went there with a search warrant. From what we are hearing now, they have also gone to Woodman's place with a search warrant. So the question I'm asking is, if they are there to search the house, why didn't they do it? And if they are there to arrest him, why didn't they do it? Because before the arrest become an option on the table, the surveillance have done their work. Almost everything has been done. The T's have been crossed and the I's have been dotted. And once that is on an option, you have to get a job executed. And I wonder why they will get there with a search warrant and you haven't searched the house, and you are not even sure, or you are not telling the general public whether Wontumi is in the house or is not in the house. You are giving yourself out, and the naysayers will spin it up, and they will spin it and put politics on it, and good intentions and standard procedure can be compromised, and that is exactly what you are saying. In the case of Adenta Kumi, he has been arrested, and if he's taken to any of the offices of the BNI, and his lawyers get there, they will be informed why he has been arrested and the charges against him, because they have to charge you in their presence. And that is the way it is done all over the world. So there are two scenarios here, and I think both the National Security Institutions Council members and the general public will need to understand how these things work so that we stop antagonizing one another and creating problems for one another, because to instruct a law enforcement operation and it's a serious offense, and you could be arrested and charged with several offenses, and you could find yourself at the other side of your bed.
To obstruct a law enforcement agency, like sometimes it does happen.
Definitely, and you saw it in many of the videos we are
right,
seeing,
even in this video we're playing now, there was a warning. I heard a warning from one of the security personnel. advising someone somewhere in the scene to avoid the attempt to obstruct the arrest?
Definitely. And yeah, you educate them by warning them. If they don't heed to the warning, they are liable, and you pick them as well.
Wow.
So we have to look at the operational strategy and look at what we are doing and how we can enhance it. Other than that, operational security can be compromised, and you also put the life of the operatives in danger. And this is something management and leadership will need to consider seriously.
But Mr. Humado, with all due respect, if I've done anything and I'm seen as an enemy of the state, and therefore I'm supposed to be arrested, you have established that either under certificate of emergency or arrest warrant, you are allowed to make the arrest, but with a reason and, some identification. If that is not done, I have every right as an individual to obstruct the arrest.
Normally, what we are seeing from the videos, perfectly, you said it perfectly, I agree with you, is the standby, those on onlookers and people on the standby, they obstruct the operations. But I agree with you perfectly that I have maintained the point that you need to tell the people why you are arresting them.
Right.
And you need to let them know, hey, this is where we are coming from. This is who we are. And this is why we are arresting you. They can't do anything about it. Because this is democracy where rule of law prevails and people's rights and people's privacy have implications. So what you do as part of the due diligence and standard procedure, I am Richard Kumado. I am from the BNI. And we are here to arrest you. And if you have a sister there, ma'am, I am Richard Kumado. We are from the BNI. I am the leader of the team. Anne has come under investigation notice, or Anne has come under a crime notice, or Anne has come under national security interest notice. This is where we are. We are picking her to here. Let her lawyer come or let you follow up to know what exactly are the details. It makes life easier for everybody. And there's no bravado, there's no antagonism. But once there's something wrong and people are interested in taking videos and they jam up the public space, the truth for which people have been arrested or the standard procedure could be compromised. And that is what we are seeing so far for some time now.
Okay, so what finally, political parties are, snooping and sneaking around, looking for where their member has been taken to. Is that the right thing to do? Because lawyers must call and find out where their client is.
No, definitely they will tell the lawyers where their clients are being held. Some of those ones are politics as usual. Okay. Definitely the lawyer, even if you don't have a lawyer, the state will give you a lawyer. Remember the Attorney General is the #1 prosecutor in this country. Okay. And the Attorney General is #1 law enforcement officer in this country when you take the IGP out as a #1 police officer. And definitely if you don't have a lawyer, the state will provide you a lawyer. Because whatever the security agencies will do, when prosecution become an option on the table, then the dossier ends up with the Attorney General, whether the BNR or the police or immigration. And so therefore, they are very much interested in what goes on the field, even though they do not have control over the operational strategy or whoever lead the team and whatever happened. But their lawyers and their family members will definitely be told where their client is and what the charges are, so that they can start it from there.
Right. Mr. Kumado, I'll leave you here. I'm grateful for your time.
Thank you, and I'm grateful.
Thank you. Thank you. He's a security consultant, Mr. Richard Kumado there. Let's go onto the phone lines and still do some engagement on this development where, Computer Man has joined us via Zoom to, also tell us a side of the story. So that as a political party that is in government, if this is a blot on them or they find this as normal, we'll see about that. Thank you for your time, Mr. Computer. You're welcome. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Annie, and good afternoon to your cherished viewers.
Yeah. All right. So you're welcome. I'm sure you may have followed through with all the breaking and developments with the arrest of some members of the MPP by the CID and the criticisms and possible blots that it may have placed on this government, unless you disagree.
I totally disagree. Why are we trying to stampede the process carried out by the security agencies. We are stampeding their work. That is not good enough. It's not good for national security. Let them do their work. Nobody is guilty until proven guilty. And so the mere fact that they've come to arrest somebody doesn't mean that the person is guilty. Let them do their work. They are doing their work. Nobody is above the law in this country. The fact that they are NPP people doesn't make them superhuman beings. Under their regime, we were not arrested severally. We were not arresting any even MPs, they were arresting them. Our candidates were arrested even during registration era. So this is not a new thing. What we are saying is that they should allow the law enforcement agencies to do their work. Let them go and venerate themselves. If they know they have not done anything wrong, why do they fear? Are they trying to make the country ungovernable or what? What kind of life is that? If a security agency, they've sent people to come and invite you, and you are resisting, they'll use minimal force to arrest you.
At what
the law
point?
Allows that.
At what point was the resistance?
That's why I'm saying that you and I were not there at the point of the arrest. And you know these people. As soon as they got a wind that the security agents were coming to pick them up, their officers were on social platform inviting their members to go and attack the security agents at the residence. What were they trying to do? They were inciting their members to go to those houses.
Okay.
Is that how we are going to rule this country?
Okay, first of all, I don't know these people. Second of all, they put on the social media platforms organizing their members. I'm not sure if their member who was supposedly going to be arrested had earlier resisted arrest. I don't have that information yet. The information I have,
Annie, that is what I'm saying.
Unless you tell me that you have information that the security agencies had invited him for several days and he had refused to show up.
Annie,
yes,
they need not to invite you before even they arrest you. If they have enough evidence that warrants that there's a need to go and arrest you, you don't wait for that person to be invited. You go and pick him up.
I don't disagree.
If the person's attitude
I don't disagree.
border on national security,
no, I don't disagree.
National security.
I don't disagree at all. I'm just asking that if you've picked intel and he has to be arrested, I just spoke with the security consultant, Richard Kumado, who has indicated that no matter the condition under which you're arresting the person, identity and reason must be given.
Of course, that is the law.
Yes.
And they identified themselves. They identified themselves to the gentleman that, look, we are coming from this security agency.
Mm-hmm.
We pick you up for questioning on so and so. What wrong have they committed? That's why I'm saying that.
You have adequate information that they provided those details, because we've just spoken with the mother who is also claiming that they didn't tell them where they're coming from and they didn't tell them where they're taking him to and why they had come to arrest him.
Annie,
yes,
they are trying to draw public sympathy.
Okay.
I am telling you that the group that went to pick them up identified themselves and they know where they were coming from. But you know these people, you know their propaganda. They will come out and say different things, knowing very well that, look, you remember the issue of the Asin staff MP? Fojo.
Yes.
When they went to pick up Fojo, was it not the same drama they were saying that they didn't know each other, they didn't identify themselves? But later on, what did they say? They knew the people who came and they knew the officers.
Mm.
And so they couldn't, nobody could have just gotten up, dressed up himself and said, I'm going to pick you up. This is not a government that will come and violate people's rights in this country. No, the NDC government will never violate anybody's rights, but will make sure that the national security that we all want to be protected is hugely protected, and nobody will have the audacity to jeopardize the security of the state. That is what we are trying to prevent.
Okay. Okay. Rashid Tanko, Computer, Deputy Director of Elections. We'll leave it here unless you have some more information to add.
Very well. I am saying that please, let's rather support the security agents to make sure that you and I, this freedom we are enjoying now, the peace we are enjoying now, no reckless person with his action and inaction will disturb the peace of this country. Please, let's not drop politics into this. It's for you and I. I'm telling Ghanaians, whatever is going on in this country, The security, they have it at the back of their mind that we want to protect the citizenry. Don't allow somebody reckless behavior, reckless attitude to jeopardize the security of this state. And that is what we are trying to prevent.
Okay. All right. I'm grateful for your time. Richard Tanko, Computer Deputy Director of Elections for the NDC, also speaking to us and telling us about the side of the story. And they think that there's no blots at all. He thinks that the security agencies did exactly what they're expected to do. They identified themselves. They told them reason for the arrest, and we shall allow the law to be the law. Let's engage Richard Niyama, who is a private legal practitioner as well on this matter. If Richard is on standby, if I may hear your voice. Richard, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Annie. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you for your time. All right. So in all of this, we have spoken with the NPP as a political party that was organized its members to go and either, I don't know, support, stop, I'm not sure. We've spoken with them. We've spoken with the mother of Alfred Kumi, otherwise known as Adentan Kumi. We've spoken with Richard Kumado, who is also a security consultant. We've spoken with the NDC as a government in office that there are complaints that they are putting a blot on the way they are doing their things as far as these arrests are concerned. We want to also have your take from the side of the law. Which law has been breached here?
Okay, thank you once again. Our laws are very clear in this country when it comes to arrests. The law says that a police officer has the power to arrest at any time that he has reasonable suspicion to believe that someone has committed or is about to commit an offense. There's no doubt about that. However, the law goes ahead to say that when making the arrest, the police officer must tell the person the reason for which he has or is being about to be arrested. And so, point number one, it is always important that the arresting officer clearly states why he or she is arresting whomever he is arresting.
Right.
Now, another point that we should think about, which cuts across all the political parties when they are in power, is the masking. I'm being told, or as we have all heard, the national security operatives who went to effect the arrest were having their faces covered. This is very, very unlawful because a police officer ought to be identified at any given time. That is why any policeman you see, his name or his ID is on his chest or his breast. The reason is that if we are not able to identify the arresting officer, criminals like kidnappers and armed robbers and so on and so forth can masquerade around and pretend to be national security operatives to be picking up people to kidnap them in the name of the national security. And we may not be able to account for some of these things. So for me, if you ask me the question of whether any law has been breached in this arrest, I think the masking of the national security officials is the biggest wrong with this arrest which has taken place. Otherwise, national security, just like police officers, they have the power to arrest anytime they want to arrest.
But it's not all of them that had the masks on.
Well, if it is not all of them that have the mask on, why should some of them have masks on them? You see, they go about carrying weapons and so on and so forth. And so if 3 officers should approach me, one of them is not having masks, 2 of them are having masks and are holding arms. And the one holding the arm discharged the arm and injures me. How do I hold him accountable?
Yeah.
Because the one who discharged the arm had his face covered. How do I identify him? How do I hold him responsible for my harm? And so I want to believe, and I'll add that caution, that all governments, including this present government and future government, should take note of it and ensure that when national security operatives are performing their duties and functions, they do not cover their faces. Because, for Christ's sake, we are not in a war zone. We are in a law-abiding country, and I believe that the laws must be made to work at every point in time.
So, having spoken with Tanko, it's clear that the security agents, the personnel that stormed the home, of Alfred Kumi identify themselves by names and by reason of the arrest. Is that not enough information? What has that got to do with the masks?
Yes, like I've indicated, every arresting officer ought to be identified, and he also ought to give the reason why he's arresting. If he has a warrant, he ought to show the warrant. However, I'm saying that we should shy away from this practice of allowing some security agencies or officials to mask their face, because the operations that they are going out there to conduct, it's not wartime operations. You are arresting civilians, and there's nothing to fear for your life. You are a police officer. Tomorrow, you may not be there. So we shouldn't encourage that situation where people come in mass. You see, it puts unnecessary fear in the citizens. It also creates that danger or that risk that wicked people or bad people or criminals may also mask themselves, come and say they are national security officials, and abduct people, and we shall not be able to account for those events.
What can victims who fall, prey to this, what can they do? Can they sue security agencies for doing that? Because it is possible that you're giving me some identity, but you're not exactly the person that you're saying you are because you're wearing a face mask.
Well, it is an option they can explore. As to the feasibility of it, I cannot immediately say, but I want to believe that, you see, the courts have already said that every unlawful arrest can be resisted, which is why I believe the MPP people were trying to mass up at the police to prevent the arrest.
So can face mask alone make the arrest unlawful?
Of course, the mask makes the arrest unlawful because the arresting officer has to be identified. So if you have masked yourself, you do not meet the criteria or the checklist that is needed to make the arrest lawful. So to the extent that the people are masked, I believe that the arrest was unlawful. Otherwise, every other thing should be lawful about the arrest.
Richard Niema, I'm grateful for your time this afternoon. Thank you. And I'm sure when we need some help, we'll come to your doorstep again. Thank you for speaking to us. And Richard Niema is a private legal practitioner. We'll take a breather. We'll be back with more.
Ama, nansi mi general well-being enkoye kwao. Ama ma ye bohu se kontomra akija.
Nansi me hu se me nyo basima kra. Ama me kunu ni me into kwankwa. Oyiwa. Enye mo give us GC mixture and any capsules. Aye numbum. En ho asem na mo kana. Ebua emma ene meme nyina. Ne ma wo ba ye obesima. Na be ma so aye be masima. Ya, we be bua wukunu. Ama ne giant sa wo de hye ne botum. Na wanyinya ne nti sese ne oyi chokwa.
GC mixture and castle. Achesa.
A painful battle one more menu for an inquiry when if you do
MNC Group is a leading investment holding company with expertise in minerals and food commodity trading, precious minerals refinery, real estate development, and logistics and energy. With individually registered companies, our headquarters is located in Accra, Ghana, with operational offices in Dubai, UAE, Hong Kong, and Guangzhou in China, Johannesburg in South Africa, Virginia in the USA, and Milan, Italy. We connect business markets and drive growth. Trust us to maximize value in every deal. Call us on 0302 551 917 or 0302 551 918 or send us an email mncgroup@mncgroupgh.com. MNC Group, totally reliant.
Food insecurity in West Africa isn't just a statistic. It's a crisis affecting millions, not because of a lack of land or talent, but because our food systems are struggling under the weight of conflict, climate change, and limited investment. On June 3rd, I had the honor of moderating the President's Roundtable 2025, hosted by the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development, EBID, under the theme Unlocking Food Security in West Africa Through Agricultural Transformation. We'll convene leaders, experts, and change makers for a strategic conversation, one that moves far beyond talk into action. From innovative financing to climate-smart agriculture, we'll spotlight real solutions and real commitments live on Metro TV. Now it's a defining moment for our region, so do join the conversation as well, live on DSTV Channel 277 and EBID's digital platforms. Let's move together from insecurity to food sovereignty. My name is Anita Erskine. It would be an honor to have you join us.
Hey Ghana, hey Accra, where you the maiden edition, walk in your jersey, Ignite Sports and Yade Bramo, Paso Saturday, 24th of May, 2025, yeah, Shasia wa Accra Mall, near Kwakobia Center Point Mall, our Atomic Junction, Shannon So, Ignite Sports.
Team Bain our supporting Arsenal, Man U, Chelsea, Real Madrid, Inter, Amansa, FC Barcelona, and yeah. Show Jesse, na Brasia, walk in your Jesse, Yenina Yenshia Jesse, Niemra, near Nantimo.
It's year 2 years at the friend, sorry, Akuo Enina, Keep Fit Club, and Nasa Suku, Ahudu Enina, ye Shasia, our shopping mall, a crab or ye Shasia, near the Akopim, our center point.
And you walk in your Jesse, we taking over.
You're welcome back. Now, let's move away from the series of interviews we've conducted on this development of arrest and also pay attention to the new development at the presidency regarding the return of the vice president from her short rest. And we are privileged to have the chief of staff to the vice president's office, lawyer Alexander Zegbefia, who has joined us via phone to give us, some brief on exactly how this return is looking like at the presidency. Thank you for your time, sir, and you're welcome to Good Afternoon, Ghana. Thanks for agreeing to speak with us.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me on your show.
Right. So tell us, we saw the pictures, we saw the videos, we've heard the comments from the VP herself and the president himself, who obviously seems elated or appears elated upon the return of the vice president. How is this all, bringing changes in the atmosphere at the presidency?
Well, first and foremost, good afternoon also to your viewers and listeners. We are all, including, as you already know, the president, very elated and happy that the vice president is now able to join us back in Accra or in Ghana. And we are clear in our mind that we will take the advice of the president himself when he says that we should make sure that she takes some or doesn't jump straight back in at full pace. We should give her some time to actually get back into full steam. So we'll do that. And that's exactly how we see it. But we are all very happy, and we thank God for his mercies. That's all.
So we want to be sure if she is indeed fit to continue the difficult work of managing a country.
If she wasn't, she wouldn't be here. She would have stayed back. So she is fit to manage or to do her job. That's why she's here. No problem on that. And so we have no issues, but we will take it easy on both the president and the vice president. We've had a very grueling campaign coming in, and it has taken, obviously taken its toll. So we are even looking at the duties of the president and the vice president combined in terms of how we get them to move around and how they have to deal with their duties. There's not going to be a reduction. We just have to know how to plan it and go about it properly. But in terms of fitness, both of them are fit, as you know, including, and in her particular case, she's ready to start or to work and go about her daily business.
Without necessarily seeking to, force maybe the details of the vice president's health condition, there's still the concern of persons who think that if the health condition of all our leaders affects their work, we have a right to know exactly what's happening to our leaders. But without necessarily seeking the details of that, I want to find out if we go by the schedule given to us by the medical officials who attended to her, are we going to lack as a country at some point, or she'll be able to perform to the maximum?
You're talking of a very responsible person and a very responsible president. So I think the question is not one that needs to be elaborated upon. If she wasn't in a state to come and do her duties, she would not here, as I said. There would have been no need to rush her back. She would have spent some time to ensure that she was fit. She is fit. She is here. And we will carry on our duties. But what the point I seem to be trying to make is that over the years, we've realized that we task our presidents and vice presidents in a way which then also puts them at risk with regard to their health. Yeah. And therefore, the time for conversation, maybe not now, as to their duties, responsibilities, what must be done or not done, has to be taken into account. Yeah. And our campaigns are very, very grueling. Let's have no doubt about it. And this is not being partisan one way or the other. So it can take its toll. And the moment you win an election, you then have to go straight into ensuring that you have a government that is ready to deal with things. I'm happy to see or to say that our government has shown that it is capable and competent and has done what it needs to be to have done over, including the 120-day promises we have given to Ghanaians. And so quite clearly, we are settling in, we are putting ourselves in the right shape. Our economy is showing signs of moving in the right direction. And we have definitely created an atmosphere of investor confidence. And the vice president is part of this positive start that we are seeing from the NDC. Yeah. So no cause for alarm. We are happy with it.
I must admit or say that you have received some applause in terms of how transparent you have been with the condition of the vice president right from the beginning to her return. But want to find out, since your party campaigned on the legs of resetting, it just simply means that there are some things that are not being done and you may want to do as a government to put us on the right trajectory. The health, situation of our appointees sometimes really become a worry for everybody. And we also think that sometimes all these appointees do not take care of themselves properly like they should. We've had the discussion of improving on our health system and making sure that our leaders are quickly rushed there whenever there are emergencies here and day in and day out. Is that something that you are doing as a government, maybe off from your duty as a chief of staff? In the VIP's office, are we doing something to make sure that we are very much updated on the health conditions of all appointees so that we keep them in good shape and in good time?
First and foremost, let me indicate that the health of people is something that, first and foremost, is private. When you become a government official, and depending on the level, then obviously it becomes of interest if you are not perhaps possible to perform the duties which you have been given. But having said that, we all have to accept that people get ill and they get better. So you don't just say, oh, because somebody has got a cold or somebody has got malaria, all of a sudden they can't perform their duty. And I'm just being, you don't judge and try to get to know people's health is private to them.
Yeah.
And people walk about every day and end up with a heart attack or a stroke. So health is something that we all have to be careful about. I've been quite disappointed in the way in which Ghanaians, and I'm not talking of everybody, but some Ghanaians seem to want to make a penchant of seeing the worst part of things or people's health.
Yeah.
That is unfortunate, actually, and it must be said that we have to start moving away from that. We saw it with previous people's ill health. We saw it with how we behaved in previous regimes and previous governments, and we are seeing it even now. So now everybody has seen the vice president. So all these naysayers, what do you have to say? Nobody is God. Let's be careful as a people. Yeah. And we just have to be circumspect in what we wish people or how we see things. And I'm only glad that everybody saw her come, walk, speak. She's spoken to us. She's back.
Yeah.
Let's put it behind us and move forward. But I still give a caution, and that is our elections and the way in which we deal with our political leaders, especially a president and a vice president.
Yeah.
They are human. And your body can only take so much after a point. And I'm not diagnosing anybody at this point. I'm talking generally. I'm talking in terms of what I saw happen with even Dr. Mahmoud Bami at a certain point had to go and receive treatment. I'm talking about the incident with our own Professor Mills. I'm talking about a whole raft of people who have been and gone based on various issues. Let's be circumspect how we deal with people's health.
Yeah.
If you have somebody who is not well, what you do is you pray for the person to get better and get strong. You help the person to recover. And then you go back to your shenanigans, which we do between political parties and stuff. But this idea that people will then take or see an opportunity to make all kinds of statements was for me sad and unfortunate. And I'm only glad that we have a situation where we see her in her full strength and glory, looking, as the president even said,
younger 20 years younger.
Yes, and because you need a rest. I mean, it's rest. That's what you need. Everybody needs some level of. It's not by mistake that we put annual leave in our work schedule, and in some companies they insist you take your annual leave. They don't allow you to accumulate. You must take the annual leave in that year because it is scientifically proven that you need a period of rest to really move away from things. So let's be clear that for me, I'm so elated, I'm happy, along with everybody else who's in our office. The government is happy, and the majority of Ghanaians are extremely ecstatic about what is happening. But then you still have a few naysayers who always wish the worst and don't help the progress of Ghana, and that must also be said.
Lawyer Alex Egbefia, the Chief of Staff to the Vice President, thank you for speaking to us this afternoon. We're grateful. Right, so that's a lawyer there. He's also former Deputy Minister of Health and also former Deputy Minister of Defense, currently at the Office of the Vice President, and he's the Chief of Staff to that office, having told us what's happening. We wish the Vice President all the best and all the strength that she can gather to work as the leader of this country or as a deputy leader of this country, and we will support also from our various offices. Actually, this is where time will allow us. Apologies that we're for our inability to bring you the updates of the monkeypox and also the lecturer who was found buried, murdered and buried. And I'm sure subsequently the news team will still put it together and give you some more updates of what's happening in that area as well. Meanwhile, we've been able to exhaust for now the series of arrests that we're recording this morning from the national security on some personnel. We're told per the intel